Hello. Um, hello, everyone. I'm going to talk about how the proposed new definition of clinical obesity might help address inequity of care. Next slide, please. The Lancet Commission on the Definition and Diagnostic Criteria for Clinical Obesity was published in January 2025, just a few weeks ago. This, while it took quite a while to come together, it sought to define clinical obesity as a condition of illness that directly results from the effect of excess body fat on the function of organs and tissues. So rather than defining obesity in terms of other health problems, there were 58 experts from multiple countries, including people with lived experience, who participated in a consensus development process over a long period of time. The key elements I want to highlight, it was not just BMI, while BMI is a useful screening tool, but things such as body fat and fat distribution are really important in terms of health risk. And then the other issue was, are there health problems specifically linked to excess body fat? Next slide, please. To highlight the differences between clinical obesity and preclinical obesity, you can see image there of Jack and of Maria. Both of them have the same BMI, but Jack, who we would see as having clinical obesity, has excess body fat with alterations in organ function and tissues and/or problems with activities of daily living. And you can see here, in this case, he had obesity-related some early heart failure, and he also had shortness of breath and many other health issues. In contrast, Maria has excess body fat, yes, but with preserved function of other organs and tissues. She is, of course, at increased risk of developing clinical obesity and other health problems down the track, and so monitoring and support of her long term will be different, but the way you might start in terms of interacting with them may be different. It is, of course, on a continuum between preclinical obesity and clinical obesity, just as with diabetes. It's not a staging system. There is a role for staging systems, but this is not it. And there are implications for approaches to management and to prevention in clinical practice. And I just want to highlight that some people with preclinical obesity who have higher risk may benefit from more intensive clinical intervention. Those are some of the things that have been a bit confusing for people. Now, if we go to the last slide, I'll just reflect a bit on how the proposed definition might help address inequity of care. I think it's important. One of the ideas behind this was that recognition of clinical obesity as a chronic disease emphasises illness rather than potentially variable health risk, and may help, therefore, improve the legitimacy, which we should never have actually had to prove, of the importance of actually treating clinical obesity in a healthcare system. Secondly, there are no assumptions made about the health of people with high BMI. Clinical assessment is really important. It's not just the BMI that's important, and should be provided for all who seek it. The recognition of obesity as of clinical obesity should aid a better understanding of the biological underpinnings of obesity, which lead to other health problems, and should help prioritise access to evidence-based therapy for those who need it. This is only a brief overview of this, and I encourage people to look at the infographics and the actual online Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology report. Thank you.